7, not 7, not 7.
Oh. Okay.
He forgot.
Okay, now, and if they come out good enough, I mean, yeah, you can do it with one hand. Just wiggle it around and pull it. Stop. Digging out of Darian's box. I'm not doing that. His is obviously too short. Okay, look. Yeah, no wonder why if you don't have that extra length right there, you're gonna hit on the wire loom just like I was doing right there. So this is the right, let's measure it. Total length, 3 inches, about 200 thousandths, 10 thousandths shy. 3 inches, 200 thousandths. Let me fight that one and look all goofy. So now let's see what happens. Put it in there, line it up. Now you get it in. Now's when you crack it by hand, because now is the time when you decide if you need new hold downs. If that bolt is really loose and it comes out easy and the tip of the injector, if it's burnt, but if the bolt comes out easy, one of two things either happened. Either they did not tighten the hold down enough, which you can't live by that. If they didn't tighten down enough, then the hold down is still fine. If they over tightened it, then it stretches the bolt and it allows the injector to get pushed up and burn in the crush washer. So where we're at is, if any hold down that you take off is ever loose, you don't want to gamble that they did not tighten it enough. You have to gamble that they over tightened it. Now, if they did over tighten it, you need to replace the hold down, because you'll never be able to have that bolt have the clamping force, because the tensile strength has already been stretched. So it's done. So you'll never be able to tighten it back down. If any of your injector hold downs are loose, you replace that hold down. Don't even ask any questions, just do it. So I'll crack it loose by hand. And now is when you make a note. I mean, I put 25 foot-pounds on all of them. That one's pretty tight. See, do it by hand. Then you can spin it out, and then you'll see it push itself out of the bore. From that point, you grab the bolt on the hold down. Come out carefully. Look how I got it. See how I got it right there? That's how you grab it out. Bring the hold down out with it in one shot. And then before you take it out, pour it out. So then we always leave them together and take it over. If this is horribly charred, put a new hold down on it. And you're gonna have to clean the heck out of the bore, because the bore can get the crap beat out of it. You'll spend hours and hours trying to clean the bore. We'll show you that here in a minute, but generally I'll go backwards. If you take the one out, this is where it's nice to leave the wires hooked, to leave the wires inside, because they get in the way. I just kind of got caught up and went ahead and did it. I'm on good right there. Don't ever impact these off. Crack them. That way you can feel it. Yeah, those are freaking tight. Okay, number 2. This is number 1, isn't it? It's my first day, guys. Those do feel tight. In here, we'll go ahead and let's pull this. Pull them out easy. We don't want to. Going in is also tricky. You don't want to nick the O-rings. See, we got some kind of. Now you could check the reverse torque on it, but I've never really found that to be decisive. The decisive one is if they're loose when you start. Pull them out, dump them out. Last one. Now hold it here. Okay, hold it on there. The early ones are $25 a piece, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, these hold down clamps are $25 a piece. Make sure you're on the bolt. Don't strip it out. If you got an 05 and up and you got T45s, they're only like $7. It's ridiculous. So hold it right here and then just crack it. Okay, come down here and look here. See how much longer that is than the wire loom? You want your socket to go above the wire loom. There's just enough room. There's not enough room if you have the socket part of it down here where the wire loom's at. There's not enough. You're gonna rub on it and it's gonna affect your tightening torque, right? Because you're also overcoming friction of it rubbing against crap. So make sure you got the right length. Get the towel nice and wet with some brake clean. And then, look close. This works wonderfully. It will actually almost eliminate everything. It's phenomenal. It's ready to install. So do that to both sides. Just take your time, go around it, and just by hand with a towel and some brake clean, spray the brake clean on the towel and scrub this rocker box and make it look good. Now hopefully you don't have any big gouges that cause you to want to possibly, this wouldn't be bad to very, very lightly zip wheel, very lightly, just enough to take the left residue from the old gasket and stuff off of the grease and crap. You can do that, but I try not to.
He's working on the other side back there. I'd show you this. He's got that.
Just get all the witness marks from the old gasket off. Once you do that, if it wasn't leaking before and you got all the witness marks off, chances are there are no gouges big enough to cause you to have to zip wheel it. As long as you don't put gouges in it while you're taking everything apart. But some of this you're just gonna have to elbow grease it. That's what I found. And don't spray brake clean on it. I wouldn't do that. Look, it works great to just go around it and clean it. See that? All right, when you're gonna take these glow plugs out, I mean, on this side, it's 10 with a 1-inch extension, just like that, and impact them out. Just impact it. Just spin it, slam it on. They're 14 foot-pounds, that's it. They're not very tight, so. And then a little screwdriver, some freaking wire right here. Pull it out, and then we'll test that here in a second. Okay, now is where we take a little screwdriver, pick like almost your best one. Just wire brush it down a little bit, make sure there's no burrs on it. Make sure you rub your finger on it, it's nice and smooth, right? Alright, let's see what we got here. It's a home out of glow plug, just go on the threads and on the end. There you go, nothing. Okay, bad glow plug. Cool. 03, CD12s, they are different.
Yes, please do not put.
You can put the 05s in here, the ZD13.
Yeah, ZD13.
You can put the ZD13s in an 03. You can do that. You put a ZD12 in an 05, they're longer. They're too long. So, and another thing, little stuff, okay? Don't rip it to get the glow plug out of the package. You could wind up with a piece of plastic covering one of the ends. So just take a razor blade or something and cut it so that you pull them out. I mean, they're cheap, but they're also really fragile. Push it down in there and rub your finger around it, just like that. Just kind of wiggle it around and it will seat itself right where the threads are set. And then we'll take a 10. I don't really need a tool, but that's 14 foot-pounds. See, I'll just take it and just spin it in by hand. Just because we're doing one. Now, normally I'll use the DeWalt. We'll grab a different torque wrench and set it to 14. If I could get all these lights out of the way. I'm serious, I'll do it. This, with the torque wrench this long, I used to have a shorter one because glow plugs are not real particular on their, right there. 14, you're good. All right, we'll do, on the injector bores, I would go from the inside, take your finger, and up there, not much light, but you'll see the little lines, and it actually, very rarely does anything ever leak from here, but what happens is it just makes it harder to get the injectors in and out. Just pay attention, clean a little, and generally things will go good. Now we'll try to clean the glow plug bores out too. Just kind of, and I do this before we clean the injector bores. Okay, we want to knock as much dirt off as we can before we actually wind up with a clean injector bore, because I don't want anything else falling down in there once we clean them. So I didn't take the other side glow plug wires out. You see that little dirt right there? I can wipe. See, it's going away. Let's just try to clean it up. Okay. All right, well, I use a phone. I use a phone because I can't see that freaking well. Now, remember that screwdriver? You got to be careful with this. If you don't feel comfortable doing this, don't even attempt it. But I found this to be the best way to scrape the carbon from around the inside of the bore. There normally is a little bit of carbon around the inside and carbon on the outside. It's going to be clean right here in the center section, but right on the inside and right on the outside, I use this, and very lightly. I mean, almost just the weight of the screwdriver, and I just, let's see if I can show you. I just rub it along very lightly, just because it's easier if you can do it, if I can watch. I just lightly touch that carbon to knock it off, just to bust it loose. And I would do that before we use any blowgun or anything like that, because it's very lubricated right now. Just run around. I know you can't really tell what I'm doing, but when you're the one actually doing it, then you just look around, just look at each one, and you'll see, and just very lightly touch it. All we want to do, we're not trying to scrub anything, I just want to get all the raised carbon that is on there the heck off of there. Like right there, there's a pretty good shot of it. Let me see if I can focus in on it. Yeah, right there. Okay, see the carbon ridge on the outside? And then there's a little bit on the inside right there. We just want to knock that down a little bit. And like I said, you go digging in this with a gouging on it and making scratches, you'll wind up causing more damage than good, for sure. So I just rub it along and just barely touch it. I know they make brushes and all kinds of crap for this. We use brushes here in a second, just hang on. But all of those bore brushes that are supposedly made for the size, you know, I think they're, well, I don't really know. All right, I feel like I don't really need that. I don't need to spend $75 on one brush that's going to last for 15 injector jobs and then trash, because the way we're doing it has been working for years. You just take a little time right now, and honestly, on some of them, you get to where you just feel where the ridge is. You know which way the screwdriver is pointing, right? You know if the screwdriver is which way the flathead's going, and you spin the flathead so you can rub it around there. You just pay attention to do it, and just rub it around there. Just, I mean, lightly though. Don't do it enough to scratch it. That's a stainless steel cup. You're gonna have to really hurt hard to scratch it, but now the back, we'll just have to look at it with the phone and run around it. This is where you can't really see.
You can't see too well on this side, but
No,
I'll try.
Just take your time.
Take your time.
Like I said, don't scratch it. And it's best to do it before you blow anything out, before you do any blow gunning, because there's all kinds of oil and fuel down in that bore, and that acts for lubricant and cleaner. You know, if that fuel's down there and you're rubbing it, sloshing it around with that screwdriver, moving it around, it will help to clean it. And then when you hit it with the blow, we'll see. When I hit it with the blow gun, you'll see how well they look. But I'm not even looking at it. From this point, I spray WD-40 down in the bore. Here's the brush. I use this little guy. And then have a drain pan here. We got a mess going on here. Have a drain pan here to clean it off. And then just throw it in the bore, just like that. Throw it in there, and then through here, through the rocker, you can spray some on it. I normally do it faster than that. And then just rub it around, clean it. This is a nylon brush. I think this brush is from Harbor Freight. Just a Harbor Freight kit. Nice and cheap, get them back again, and it works great. Now let me show you what happens with the single one. It's about to get loud, close your eyes. Close your ears. Don't forget to blow the feed hole out. Injector hole down. Now we'll look down in there, see how that one went. Okay, no carbon. Little bit of burntness. Right here, you're gonna have to change your angles, because the light reflects off of all kinds of stuff, and you'll think you see something or you don't see it, and when you need to, and so just look at different angles. But that looks pretty good. It could be a little better, but we'll see if we can get it some more on the second shot. Now I'll go around to all of them.
had to clean off my camera, guys.
Okay, so the main thing going to be to clean off where the O-ring seat at is what I mainly work towards. You might get a little bit of scrubbing on the bottom where the crush washer's at, but I'm mainly just rubbing it up and down and going around it, trying to clean the surface that the O-ring goes. Now, we'll hit it. Not use enough air here. You're gonna, yeah, there's still some on there. I still got to clean that a little bit. So that pretty much gets you the idea. That's how I clean it. I mean, and I know they make brushes that go down in there, and supposedly, I mean, I just don't want to be married to having to order a brush from California or wherever it's at and keep those in. Maybe I will get them. One of you guys want to, if you guys believe in those, then let me know. And maybe I'll try one. But right now, this situation right here, how you just barely touch it with the screwdriver to knock the carbon off and then nylon brush the rest of it. Now, if you mess your truck up doing this, then it's your own damn fault because you scratched it too much. If you wind up with a crush washer failure because of this, then obviously your screwdriver had a burr on it. You scraping too hard. The weight of the screwdriver is enough. Just set it on it and rub it around the carbon. It will knock it off. If I wasn't trying to video it, I'd be done with all of them right now. So, I don't know of a better way to explain it to you. It'll be all right. Just clean it. Use the nylon brush. Use whatever brush you want. If you get an injector bore brush, that's cool. Hopefully it's not too much steel, and hopefully it doesn't scratch the side where the O-rings go, because it's, which I'm sure, surely they don't sell an injector bore tool that damages things, right? I mean, they never sell anything that doesn't work right. Everything always works right. So be careful. I know this works, and this is fail safe, and if something does screw up, it's not because a wire brush broke or whatever. So this is the most, this right here, I'm all the way willing. Anybody want to come on, and they probably will, come on and bash how we got to use the bore brush. You got to buy this, you got to do this, you got to do that. Well, I mean, I can revert back to how many injectors have you put in. I've done a couple too. So we're going to go ahead and keep cleaning. I'm not going to show anymore. Well, you can cut in and out all you want, but I'm going to go ahead and just clean it so that I can get them all done. Okay, if you're going to use your phone for this, look over here. You have to kind of take the phone at an angle, otherwise the glare is just a pain in the butt. Put right there. Okay, those are all. For me, it'll only focus like one time. So once you get it to focus, you better be watching. And if it's clean, then you're gonna make that decision that it's good, that it's clean enough, which is what I've already went around all of them twice just to scrape, make sure I left a little carbon on one of them. One of them over here, I had to go back, touch it again, just a light touch, and it just pops right off and it disappears. So that's what I'm getting at. You don't have to get all crazy and worry about the injector bores. I mean, if you have a nylon brush and some WD-40 and you very lightly scrape the carbon off where the crush washer goes, you'll be fine. You will be. Now, don't forget to blow out the injector hold down clamp, the bolt hole. Don't forget. I mean, I've never had a problem with it. I've actually been burnt by it, but, blow it down. Blow it out, because it doesn't make sense. It could hydro lock in there and you could act like you're tightening up when you're actually not, and it's just pressing against the fluid that's in the hole. And then if that's the case, then once the fluid does ooze out from the threads, that bolt is now loose. So don't do that. Now we're going to put the injectors in. I got them all clean. The bores are clean. Let's do it. We'll get them in and get them covered, because this is a point now where if we have the injectors here, don't let this sit open like this. Get the injectors, get them put in the holes, get them sealed up, because, I mean, dirt, dust, depends on where you're doing it at. It's fairly clean here, but there's still dust in the air. So All right, so now we got this fancy little Tupperware thing. We actually just got this, and this is actually the first time I've ever pulled injectors out of this. Put them in oil though. It works really good, and they're protected. So now is when we got to be real careful. You guys are just gonna have to watch it. It's gonna be long. You have to be careful to pull these out. I don't know exactly how fragile an injector nozzle is. I don't really want to find out. So when you put them in one at a time, lay them down very easily, and then when you pick them back up, then you can pick them up very easily. Just pick it up gently and let it sit there and drip. Now, if this was Bay 1, look, while I'm dripping this, I'll actually drip it on the O-rings of the other. See that? Because I mean, I wait for it to drip anyways, but we'll do that on all of them. So, if this was Bay 1, that's what I was getting at. If this was Bay 1, show what you can do, I would have ultrasonic these. These would be absolutely clean, 100%. Beautiful. You can put them in your mouth and